Be carefree, not with your choices, not with your devotion, not with the few things that deserve your life. Be carefree with the noise, with the imagined judgments, with the futures you rehearse, with the thousand small outcomes your mind insists on controlling. Let them happen. Let people misunderstand you. Let some doors close. Let plans fail. Let the world continue without your supervision. Find the few things that call you. Give yourself to them. And do not mind the rest. There is a strange heaviness that comes from believing everything matters. Every decision becomes a referendum on your life. Every mistake becomes evidence. Every ambition becomes an examination. You think ahead. You calculate. You monitor. You wonder where everything will lead. What other people will think. Whether you are making the right move. Whether you're falling behind. Eventually, even the things you love begin to feel like obligations. Hobbies become something to optimize. Work becomes a race. Relationships become something to manage. Life becomes a problem to solve. And perhaps this is why so many people seem exhausted by lives that are not particularly difficult. They are not only living them, they are continuously thinking about what their lives mean. But there is another way. You can take your choices seriously and yourself less seriously. You can be devoted without becoming tense. You can care enormously about something and very little about what it proves about you. You can pursue something without needing constant evidence that you're progressing. You can make a decision without demanding certainty that it was the correct one. You can want an outcome without living mentally inside it. This is what I mean by being carefree. Not indifference, not passivity, not wandering through life without standards. Quite the opposite. Most people care about too many things because they have never chosen what deserves their care. They give equal psychological weight to their deepest desire and the opinion of a stranger, to what they love and the possibility that they might fail at it, to the person beside them and the image of the relationship, to what they know to be true and whether other people will understand it. Everything enters the mind and receives a vote. Of course, they are anxious. Their inner world has no hierarchy. A freer life begins when most things are demoted. You decide that there are few things you are willing to devote yourself to. Perhaps a person, perhaps a craft, perhaps a question, perhaps a body of work, perhaps something you cannot properly explain but cannot leave alone. And then you allow most of the surrounding noise to become irrelevant, not because it is objectively irrelevant, because you have chosen what matters more. This changes the texture of ambition. You can become extremely serious about something without becoming psychologically dependent on its outcome. You can give yourself completely to what is in front of you without requiring the future to justify the effort. The result matters, but it does not need to occupy your mind every hour. Most results are not available to you anyway. You cannot decide whether your efforts are rewarded. You cannot decide whether another person stays. You cannot decide whether the path you chose turns out to be the right one. You can only decide what receives you, your attention, your effort, your years. There is something almost childish in the belief that worrying about an outcome gives you additional control over it. It does not. You simply suffer twice. Once before reality arrives, and once more if reality turns out badly. There is also a subtler cost. When you are constantly concerned with where everything leads, you stop experiencing the thing itself. You're never just doing. You are adjusting, evaluating, optimizing, interpreting. You stand outside your own life and supervise it. At some point, you have to decide whether you want your life to look right from a distance or feel worth living from inside it. I think this is why it matters to become a version of yourself you actually enjoy being. Not the version most likely to be admired. Not the version most likely to produce some imagined future. The person whose way of moving through the world feels natural to you. Maybe that person is more playful, more obsessive, more uncompromising, more curious, more willing to disappear into something, more willing to walk away from things that look good but feel dead, more willing to risk looking foolish. There is no prize for constructing a life that makes perfect sense and then hating the person you had to become to maintain it. You will not think your way into freedom. Eventually, you have to stop negotiating with every possible future. Choose what matters. Give yourself to it. Let the rest be noise. If someone misunderstands you, let them. If a door closes, let it. If the thing fails, it fails. You were never going to control the ending. The only thing you ever had was the choice of when to care and when to be carefree. Sincerely, Milo Morrison.